and thank you all for coming to the annual meeting of Market Center Merchants Association. My name is Steve Samuelson. I'm the president of the board, and I'm so happy that everybody is here to listen to us tonight and help support our organization and what we do. We had a guest speaker tonight by the name of Commissioner Davis, who has told us that he could not come tonight, but Major Jones is here. Major Jones is the district commander of Central District. He has a long history of police work, which I'm going to read to you in a moment. And of course, he is as being Central District commander, our go-to person when we need or have questions. And he'll be speaking with us, and we're going to have a question and answer session as well. And I hope that you'll all feel free to ask him anything that you need to ask him concerning security of the west side of that. There are some people here that I'd like to point out. To put my eyes on. Senator Barbara Robinson. Senator Robinson, would you stand? Thank you so much for coming and helping us out. And we have Kiefer Mitchell here from the state of Maryland. Kiefer, thank you so much for coming by. I wanted to mention, in case you all aren't 100% aware of what we do and what our association does. We have 300 businesses that we represent, all of whom are taxed at 20 cents a square foot, and the tax that the city collects comes to us. Our job is to provide security, rebuild the west side, attract merchants, attract businesses, attract people. And it's a hard job, and we all know why. But we do meet monthly, and we have committees that were chosen. We're going to hear from those committee heads in a few minutes after we speak with Major Jones. And they're going to tell you what we do and how we do it and where we are and what we're trying to do. And hope that we'll be fortunate enough with your help and with the help of others to be able to do it and change the face of the west side of that town. Is that an easy job? No, it's not. But got to start somewhere. We think we're on the right path. So let me tell you a bit about Major Jones. He's a 22-year veteran of the Baltimore City Police Department. And like I said, he's commander of Central District. He oversees the operations of the patrol and discretionary units assigned to the Central District. His previous assignments include Commander of Operational Intelligence Section, Commanding Officer of Southwest District, Executive Officer of Southeastern District, Lieutenant of the Special Enforcement Section, Sergeant of the Gun Trace Task Force, Sergeant of Violent Crimes Impact Division, Detective of Warrant Apprehension Task Force, and he was a police officer in the District Patrol and Operations. He has quite a history for these 22 years and has obtained the rank of Major and Commander of Central District. So, Major Jones, where are you?
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. My bio was pretty good. I wrote it myself. So I am the commander for the Central District. I took over command for the Central District June of last year, coming from the Operational Intelligence Section where I was the commander of that unit. Basically, Operational Intelligence housed all of what we call the sexy divisions in the unit. In the department, I had the Warrant Task Force, Gun Task Force, Regional All Theft Task Force, all of the heightened enforcement groups with DEA, ATF, Homeland Security. I had the undercover squads, I had Vice, I had all of that stuff. I did so well, I think, that they gave me the Central District as just another task. Many of you, as you well know, the Central District is a dynamic district. It is unlike any of the other 8 districts. It goes from 6 o'clock in the morning until 6 o'clock in the morning. There's some of the districts that I've had the pleasure of working in, you realize that at 12 o'clock at night or a little bit earlier or later, that district pretty much goes to sleep. The Central, unfortunately, never goes to sleep. One thing I've learned about the Central District that is also just unique to the district is, you know, Baltimore City has 600,000 plus residents in the city. Any given day, depending on the event, the Central District can have 600,000 individuals just inside of the Central District. So that amongst itself brings it to have its own different issues and responsibilities as the commander of that district. I saw some questions that were given. I don't know if you want me to go off of the list that was pre-given to you, or you want to ask me individual questions. I'll really answer them in reference to the Lexington Market and the Merchants Association. I can do it as you will. You want me to go off the list, or you want me to go off of?
Go for this and then we can have questions.
Sure. So the first question off the list, number one says, it will be helpful for the audience to have a baseline understanding of the current coverage and chains of command for the market. For example, while most people know the market center is in the Central District, few people know which posts cover the market and how they are staffed. The Lexington market is on 111 posts. Each district is broken down into sectors, posts. You're on 111 posts. It's staffed as such. You will normally have a shift commander or SIC, who will be the sergeant in charge for that shift. You then have a sergeant. You then have an officer who is assigned to that post. So you have 1, 1, and 1. The uniqueness of the Lexington market is you have the ability to have a foot deployment inside of the market. Newly assigned to that unit is Sergeant Ruiz to my left. The foot unit is comprised of 1 sergeant, 4 officers. The first officer comes in. His shift is 10 in the morning till 6 p.m. You then have an overlapping shift that then comes in. What's that? What's this overlapping?
There's a 7 a.m. to 3.
7 a.m. to 3. So 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Then the overlapping is 10 to 6. The first officer comes in at 7 in the morning. The other 3 officers come in at 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. until the market closes. What we just added to the Lexington market area is a foot component. So we had a graduating class last week of 36 individuals. Of those 36 individuals, all of those individuals except 4 came to the Central District. Of the 32 that we have, all of them are in the downtown area on 111 posts and different foot posts throughout the 111 posts. 3 of them are assigned to the 100 to the 300 block of North Utah in reference to Lexington Market. So their shift normally is from 10 to 6, 11 to 7. They'll work that shift, and then they'll have an evening shift that comes on and overlaps until 2 in the morning. They run that 7 days a week. The 2 days that they are off, you only have 1 squad working whenever 1 squad is off. That's normally how the coverage is for that area. What we've also had to do post the civil unrest of 2015, we've had a permanent car at the corner of Utah and Saratoga, which is housed by 1 officer from the Patrol Bureau. His responsibility for everything else is to get out, be proactive, do civil citations, engage with the community, business checks.
You said that's his responsibility?
That's what his responsibility should be, yes. Now what happens is that detail rotates, so you may get an officer who may want to take the whole detail for the whole 10-hour shift. You get some who don't want it, they may want it for only 2 or 3 hours or something like that, whatever works out with the shift commander. So for a portion of that, they may be in the car writing and trying to catch up on reports. But the idea is to have them out of the car engaging with the community. Second question was, we would like to know how you are working to maximize the resources at your disposal. How is BPD working to increase officer recruitment, retention? How BPD is working to improve technology to enable more efficient use of officers' time. how BPD is addressing the large crowds and students that congregate in the market and around Lexington Market. The biggest thing that we've done in reference to trying to address recruitment is revitalization of the cadet program. We've also reached out in reference to the Explorer program, things that over the years have fell to the wayside, so now we have a revitalization of that. The idea is that with the Explorer program, you had young individuals who got out of the Explorer program around the age of 18, and we didn't get them back in reference to joining the police department. So that Explorer to Cadet Bridge is what's going to have a more robust academy class of individuals who will stay inside of the BPD program until they can become 21, joining the force and going through the academy. Another thing that we've done in the agency is we've seen that, unlike the national average normally for most police departments, they have a civilian staff of about 30%. Baltimore City Police Department right now has a civilian staff of like 16%, which means there are a lot of officers who are inside that could be out on the street. So the push is to look at civilianizing a lot of those inside jobs, to have those officers who are now doing administrative duties out on the street, so that'll put more officers out on the street where you can see them. As you well know, the staffing shortages that Baltimore City is facing, the police department, FOP, and the mayor are right now in a contract negotiation in reference to dealing with the contract that we're under right now, which is 10-hour days and 4 days on, 3 days off. The current staffing and scheduling we have right now just does not support this new schedule, so we're looking at contract negotiations to provide still a 10-day work day, but they're trying to change the work schedule from a 4-3 to another workable schedule. Another thing we've been doing in the agency is we're going back to what's called excellence in policing. We believe that the morale in the agency has taken a hit, so the idea is just recognizing those officers that are still engaged in the crime fight or being that guardian with the neighborhood, not just an occupying force. So the excellence in policing is when district commanders or any specialized units want to recognize anyone who's under their command. These individuals will then have a meal as a group with the commissioner. They'll be given different kinds of unit citations depending on what the accomplishment was. They'll give the deputy commissioners challenge on, and what they'll do as another incentive is give them 1 week to be assigned to a detail of their choice. So if you're a patrol officer and you're out there every day doing 10-hour days, and you've just been in patrol for a while, but you have an aspiration to go to the warrant task force, or you have an aspiration to go into a detective unit, this gives you that chance to go see what those detectives do for a 1 week period. You add some tools to your tool belt as an incentive. The police commissioner is looking into, in reference to some of the senior officers, we're looking into creating a master patrol officer position. It will be similar to what the other jurisdictions do as far as trooper first class or corporals. This will be a bridge between some of our senior officers right before they go right into the sergeant level. So it'll give them some training before they are assigned to the rank of sergeant. So this is one thing that we're doing as an incentive to keep officers around. We're also looking at creating for the detective division a detective first class rank. As far as recruitment goes, we're testing every day at Baltimore City Police Department at 12 o'clock, 12:30 every day in the headquarters building. So that's one avenue that we're also working with in reference to trying to keep and maintain officers available on the street. Third question, we would like to get your response to our request for increased foot patrols, retention, more expedient responses to police complaints, calls for service, increased enforcement in reference to disorderlies, illegal hacking, and local solicitation. So with this new academy class, as I just mentioned, we have increased your foot patrol in reference to the Lexington Market area. So that gives you 3 officers from that 100 block of Utah. Also with the units that are already inside of the market under Sergeant Ruiz, we're using both of these aspects to hit both sides of the market. We know the backside of the market has some issues with the illegal hacking. I expressed to Sergeant Ruiz the importance of these civil and criminal and traffic citations in reference to the parking violations, the illegal dumping, the solicitation, the loitering, the littering that we've had in that area. So I believe with Sergeant Ruiz in his position, he's coming from a background of operational intelligence where I came from. He was a sergeant in reference to one of the West Side enforcement teams. So I think he's the right man for the job in reference to targeting and getting these young officers involved and engaged. So I think with those foot officers out there right now, you'll see an increase of not only just their army presence in the area, but their eagerness to get out there, to get engaged, to show us what they can do. So MCMA is concerned, the drug dealing, drug use, loitering, disorderly conduct is being normalized in the market to the point where officers just accept it. We would like to hear your plan to ensure that this does not happen and to the extent that it already has to reverse it. Narcotics enforcement is very important to me. I've done narcotics enforcement pretty much all of my life. It's been guns and drugs. Worn wires, I've bought and sold drugs and guns undercover. So I've got that pretty much down pat, and I understand how we can get in and confess it. What we've done is, on the macro level, we realized as the city as a whole that if we put a focus on the Eastern District, the Western District, we'll win the city as a whole, because these have, over time, have been our most problematic districts. So what we've also done on the micro level for each district is we've created what we call commander zones. Your Lexington market is in my commander zone 1, which has its own operations team of 1 and 4, which is targeted just specifically in that area to go after what we call your known, these individuals who are involved in your drug trades. So they go after, as Commissioner VFL will say, we're no longer fishing with the harpoon. We're fishing with a net, we're fishing with the harpoon. So we're going after those individuals who are driving the crime in that area, extracting them through either arrests for felony reasons, handgun violations, but also individuals that we check every day to have open warrants. We're ensuring that these individuals are removed from the street. Just recently, at the end of March, we did a search and seizure warrant, 228 Utah Street of Absolute Mark. My foot officers in that area observed enough probable cause to get a search warrant because they believed that that business was involved with some of the illegal trade in that area. So a search and seizure warrant was executed on the Absolute Mark. So at that point, I think 3 individuals, to include two individuals who were associated with the business, were arrested. We are still looking for, in reference to those businesses who are adding to the problem in the area. So that's something that Sergeant Ruiz has that task of focusing on that. Another thing that we're doing in reference to the illegal drug trade is a sit down with the DEA. I have a close relationship with the SAP over there. We spoke approximately a month ago in reference to doing some joint initiatives around the market. We realized that some of the methadone clinics, so the pain clinics in the area, in reference to the sale of your prescription drugs, that has been a big focus. So we're looking at the diversion group of our federal partners, starting to put that under a microscope to do federal prosecution in reference to that drug trade as far as that goes. One thing that I can say for my officers is that, at no time do we take anything lightly when it comes to illegal activity within the market. We realize that it's a location that, I've been a denizen of the city my whole life. I'm 44 years old. I'm born and raised and came to Lexington Market as a young kid from the east side. So it's something that's been a staple of this community, and we know that we need it in this area for the jobs that it brings and also with the tourism. So, it's one thing that just having to explain to the officers just the importance of what the market brings. I think One thing that the agency is doing now, which we wasn't doing when I was coming through, is we're teaching the history of Baltimore and the academy to these new recruits. Well-being of the city. So that's one thing that I think that we're getting to with these academy recruits. They go through the academy when the sergeant, lieutenants, when they go through in-service, while the recruits get a 40-hour block of it. The sergeants and the officers who go through in-service get an 8-hour block of the history of Baltimore, learning the nuances of these neighborhoods, the diversity, the cultural sensitivity of some neighborhoods that we have to address. It deals with the LGBT community. It goes over a whole spectrum of different sensitivities and things as far as the community that need to be addressed. So I think that's a big thing. It goes over also the history of foot, of how important foot is to an area, of getting the officers engaged with the community, getting out of their car, speaking to people. I know it's an art that we know you don't want it to say this millennial generation. But I know I have a 13-year-old boy and a 10-year-old girl, and it's just a little different, you know. It's they're different. Officers are different as well. They're so microwave that they want it on a computer, they want it on an app, they want it on something where back in the day I had a piece of paper where I had to write somebody's name down and stick it in my back pocket and try to remember this person. And walking foot came naturally to us because it's what we did. So when we walked down the street and we engaged the community, I got to know who they were, they got to know who I was. And then there was also this dynamics of walking down the street, seeing Miss Johnson sitting on her step or in the windowsill, and as you walk by, she may give you a nugget of information of, you might want to watch that house on the corner. Now, Ms. Johnson doesn't want me to stop and look at her. She doesn't want me to say hi, wave. She just wants me to take that little nugget and keep on going. Now, some days she may want to be engaged, but some days she doesn't. And that's something that the officers have to learn to get to that point in their career. And hopefully through the history of foot and getting it out there, each academy class from now on will do some kind of foot in either this district or another district. I know this was the first district to actually have an orientation the day before their graduation with Downtown Partnership. Downtown Partnership brought the whole group down here, fed them, gave them some instructions on the importance of the clean team and the safe team and how Downtown Partnership works. So going forward, I think this is going to be a good partnership that we're starting with this recruit class, starting them on the right path. I think that was it. So I'm open for any questions. Anybody, please raise your hand. I'll do my best to answer any questions or concerns you may have.
Questions. We got him here. He's the district commander. I know you have issues. Let's get those issues out.
So most organizations have a problem trying to backfill behind senior experience rolling out the door. So in any given year, how many do you have to recruit to replace the senior officers who are actually retiring and doing other things?
I don't want to.
Could you say if you can hear in the back? Or repeat that?
So the question was, most organizations, especially today, have an issue with senior staff members retiring, leaving. It's true in public works, transportation, the MTA, and certainly the police department. So the question is, how many people do you have to recruit to fill the positions that are soon going to be empty?
So to give you an exact number of how many we're going to have to recruit as an agency, I can't give you that question. I can't give you the answer. What I know is on an average, we're probably losing around 19 a month as far as an agency as a whole, and we're recruiting about 15. The idea is to now, the agency is in contract negotiations. We're also dealing with exit interviews to find out what's driving these individuals to want to leave. So it's through these exit interviews that we realize that the excellence in policing, the acknowledgement of the officers, getting the guys realizing that the staff shortages is an issue, and then trying to work through those staff shortages in reference to trying to find other ways of having officers out on the street. Right now, what we're doing is, because we're going into the summer months, we're going into our summer deployment. So what this does is from May to September, normally those officers, sergeants, and lieutenants who normally would not be in a patrol function, they are being detailed to patrol for 5 days. And they're going to supplement patrol to be out on the street. So that's one thing that we're doing right now. But the biggest thing is going to be in that contract negotiation and trying to just get that schedule together. There are some individuals who, when you get that golden parachute and you get to that point where you can retire, I mean, I think that's going to be something that anybody looks to when you get there. I'm a 23-year, that was a year late when I gave to that. I'm a 23-year veteran. I could have retired when I was 20, my 20 years. I'm still here. I think it's a dedication of an individual. I don't think it's one thing that you can say that's going to make one individual stay. I think it's distinct to that person. And if it's a better job or it's schools or it's something that comes along, and you just got to take it as a senior individual. You know, it's a personal judgment. I think what the agency has done is just shown the ability to. We don't want to bring money. We realize that, you know, that you may replace people, but or you could fill a position that's hard to replace them. As a 23-year veteran, I've seen and done things and know some nuances of this city. So the idea is trying to reach out to those individuals who are 20 plus veterans and just showing them that we need it here. We had an intel meeting today with my guys, and the idea is you have to let your people know that how much you need them. You don't take them for granted. And that's what one thing I did today is, look, our crime looks pretty good in the district. I appreciate what you guys are doing. I need you out here. I need you in the fight. I know it's long days. I know it's getting warm. So that's just one thing that we've got to do. So.
Thank you.
We're going to, with Ann, and then we're going to go to the back with Dee next, and then.
So, I actually have a question and a comment. So twice now, thank you. Twice now, I've actually approached two officers and two individuals who are cars and made mention to them that there was someone selling drugs. You know, there was illegal drug activity going on across the street. Will you address it? And you just, pretty much it's the norm that they do drugs around here all the time. To me, I just can't reconcile that being the norm accepted by the officers. First of all, it's a citizen's complaint. Secondly, I'm giving you intel, and you're doing nothing but sitting there going, okay, thanks. How do I handle that in the future if that happens again?
And we meet all the time, and I'll shoot right from the hip. I would love to say that everybody who dons this uniform that I'm so proud to wear every day should don this uniform, but they don't. There are some people at your job, and at your job, that honestly you wonder how did they get here. My advice to you is this: while I dictate and mandate that these officers provide you with a quality product and service, not all of them do. When they are identified for whatever reason, if you go to an officer and say, excuse me, this is what's going on, and they fail to respond, we have a checks and balance system in the 911 service. It's called a supervisor's complaint. So if you go to an officer and say, this is what I see, this is what I'm going, this is what is going on, and they don't respond, or they don't respond in a timely manner, just call 911, say I have a supervisor's complaint, explain what your supervisor's complaint is, and send a supervisor out to speak with you. And then when there's an issue where the supervisor can correct it right then and there, you should. If there's a neglect of duty, then we expect him to write that also up and go through the formal disciplinary process. But that's the best way for me to weed out those individuals who aren't living up to the standard that I've set.
Major, thank you for coming today. I'm a new business owner on the 300 block, Park Avenue. Actually, last week I did have a chance to meet the officers at the downtown partnership. I was there with another business owner there. So to kind of voice it, just get to know us. We bought the building and we spent a lot of money in that area. Okay? And the challenge we have is a little different than I think like the market immediate. We have a lot of loitering and we have a lot of nuanced people just hanging out. And we do what we can as a business and with a couple of business owners But still, the challenge is we had foot patrol for a little while, and that really helped, but now that's gone because they're being detailed to other more urgent areas. Are there any plans at all to help us resolve our challenges in that block?
Yes, 300 Park has been the thorn in my side since I got to this point. So, as a commander, you get certain things and it becomes your pet peeve. So for me, my pet peeves are 2000 block of Linden and Reservoir Hill.
Thanks.
It's 1800 block of Pennsylvania Avenue at Lawrence. And then I have 300 Park. So normally when I leave out of the district going somewhere, I try to always hit 300 Park. I'll get out my car, I'll address those individuals in that area who are frequenting that liquor establishment. So you have a combination of, unfortunately, individuals who are addicted to alcohol, and then you have another group of those individuals who are not only addicted to alcohol, but they are homeless. So what we've done is twofold. So I reached out first to my sergeant who's in the back, Sergeant Joanne Wallace. She's with the homeless outreach team, because we realized when it came to individuals who were homeless, we're dealing with a segment of society that has to be dealt with a little differently. You're dealing with individuals who are dealing with some kind of substance abuse. You're dealing with individuals who are going through some kind of behavioral crises. You're dealing with individuals who are dealing with some kind of trauma. So we're seeing them at the worst point of their lives, and they're trying to self-medicate. So through the homeless outreach team, we reach them in a compassionate way, a non-confrontational way. They don't dress like me normally, or the sergeant in our Class B uniforms. They have a dress-down uniform, and they try to reach them where they are and try to give them the resources that they need. Be it if they're a veteran, get them in court, get in reference to the Veterans Association. If there's someone who needs mental health, they'll get them with mental health. They'll try to find vouchers for housing, so on and so on and so forth. Because the idea for me is this, is when you're dealing with the homeless, you're dealing with someone going through a behavioral crisis, there's no way to arrest somebody who may not be in their right mind, and no matter how you try, it just doesn't look good. It's, optically, it's just not a good look. I tell individuals all the time, I told the commissioner once before, I said, I go to the barbershop, and when I go to the barbershop, that prepares me for CompStat. Because all of the people in the barbershop are asking me the what-if questions. And so I tell everybody in the barbershop this: there's no correct way to lock up a woman who is pregnant. There is no correct way to lock up someone who is elderly, a child. It just optically doesn't look good. The phrase for it that we've coined is lawful but awful. You may have all the probable cause and reasonable suspicion to make that arrest, but it just optically doesn't look good. So we try to utilize Sergeant Wallace and her homeless outreach team in reference to reaching them and providing them the resources that they need. Now, that's the carrot. The stick is Sergeant Ruiz. I told Sergeant Ruiz on several occasions in reference to the 300 block of Park what I need for him to do, because, like he said, patrol is at a minimum. Officers are constantly responding to calls for service. They're making arrests that are pulling them out of the call pool. They're being utilized for behavioral crises where they have to take an individual and take him to a hospital for several hours. So what I told Sergeant Ruiz and his four-man team to do is this: I need you to randomly get an officer, take him to the 300 block of Park, and start dealing with some criminal and civil citations, to deal with them on that level. So if you do see an infraction, we're going to work through it in reference to the criminal and civil court to address those issues in that area.
Thank you very much for being here. Let's show him our appreciation. I'm sure that yes. And just to let you know, you're in a room full of people who want to see a safer, more secure market center. We have the same goals as you. We are looking forward to working with you and all of our other partners from a wide variety of angles to tackle this problem. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. I'll be the first to say, as far as reaching out to the community, I think we need each other. There has to be a level of communication and transparency. Email is the best thing. Give me a call. Send me an email in reference to some concerns. Officer Chuck Lee is my resource officer for the community. So I'm here for you when you need me to send me an email. Thanks for having me.
Let me get your email off the website.
Yes.
Acknowledge.
Major Jones?
Yes, sir.
I guess we butt heads a couple of times.
Never that, sir.
But we love each other
Yes,
because
sir.
we're brothers. I mean, I'm a former Baltimore City police officer, and he came after me, so it's a good thing. And so he did listen. So before you go, what we would like to do is to give you 2 certificates for 2 of your folks. The watchful eye is out there. We're watching to see what they're doing. It's Officer Austin and Officer Pressman. Okay? Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay? Appreciate it.
Okay, so on to the second part of the agenda, which is more about Market Center. My name is Kristen Mitchell. I'm the Executive Director of the Market Center Merchants Association, and I just wanted to thank everyone for coming tonight. I can't tell you how pleased I am to see all of your faces here and see a wide variety of business owners, residential property managers, people from the city. It's wonderful. So thank you all for coming. In particular, I also do need to acknowledge 2 elected officials who walked in just shortly after Steve spoke. So Councilman Costello is here, as is Delegate Antonio Hayes. Thank you for joining us. Also, a special thank you to Catholic Relief Services for hosting us tonight, and for our small committee that put tonight together, and that is Dave Wren, Jason Sullivan, Scott Garfield. Am I missing somebody? I think that's it. Okay. So, just very briefly, I'm going the wrong way. There we go. Okay, for those of you who may not know, Market Center was established as a retail business district license area in 1983. It is one of these 10 areas in the city. RBDL areas are geographic areas within which businesses pay an annual fee to the city. The city collects the fee and disperses the 97% of the revenues to the local business association to use to enhance the business district. You can see our boundaries up there, not very easy to describe, but roughly Liberty and Cathedral on the east, Franklin on the north, Baltimore on the south, and Paca on the west. The Market Center Merchants Association is the official business association affiliated with this retail business district license area. I am fortunate to work with a wonderful 18-member board of directors, which we'll get to in just a minute, and 4 wonderful committees as well who do help me with the day-to-day work and provide guidance. This is our board. So if you are on the board, I want to take a moment, if you could stand up. All right. It is a pleasure to work with all of you. Just so you know, we have people from businesses, we have people from the University of Maryland, nonprofit organizations, nice variety of people. Though we were established in 1983 for the purposes of brevity, I'm going to focus on recent history. In 2014, the board decided to take sort of a fresh look at how they were doing things, and they hired a team of organizational development and marketing consultants to assess how the business district was working. I'm not going to get into too many details, but I will say that at least one of the consultants is here in the room tonight, Mel Freeman. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. So they did a lot of great work. They interviewed a number of the business owners. They looked at branding and marketing opportunities. And in November 2015, the Market Center Merchants Association held a special meeting, I believe it was here in this very room, to release their report. And their report did a number of things. It sort of re-established, recommitted to the vision for the district and the mission for the organization, and it provides a framework for moving forward. This is also when the 4 newly configured committees really kicked off their work, their new work. In September 2016, the board hired me. They were following through on one of the primary recommendations of the consultants, which was to have staff so that we could have feet on the street on a regular basis. And that leads us to where we are today for our annual meeting. Just to restate, the Market Center Merchants Association promotes commerce, retains and attracts businesses, and enhances the residential and consumer experience. Our vision for Market Center, again, this is in that strategy that was released in November 2015, that is, Market Center is a diverse community of commerce, arts, entertainment, and acre institutions. Its location in the heart of downtown is rich with history and landmarks and is home to world-class live theater, the famed Lexington Market, unique small businesses, and major employers. So just very briefly to give you a quick understanding of who we have in our district. If you look at the roster of businesses on the Retail Business District License Inventory, which is just the first floor businesses in Market Center, 41% of those are in retail, which makes sense. It's everything from flowers to clothes to Urban Outlet, which sells a million different things on Lexington Street. 34% of our businesses fall into the food and accommodations category. Of course, that makes sense, particularly when you think about Lexington Market and all of their vendors and Vernon Marketplace. So we also have a nice variety of personal care services, such as wonderful barber shops, beauty salons, arts, entertainment, and recreation facilities, or cultural venues, and professional services, such as the picture on the right is with HKA Architects. Starting in 2016, we welcomed approximately 22 new businesses to the district. I'm not sure who is exactly the newest, but Rotitos is pretty darn new on Lexington Street, Chef Carter's Kitchen on Liberty Street, also pretty new, and of course La Quinta, which just opened 2 weeks ago. We want to thank these business owners and all of you business owners for your investment in the community. Of course, we can't talk about Market Center without talking about development because we have a lot of opportunity here. Developers in the last year or so have completed 90 apartments, 6,000 square feet of retail, a 42-room hotel, a self-storage facility, and phase 1 of the Lamondo Arts Incubator on Howard Street. Currently under construction, developers are working on 157 apartments, almost 13,000 square feet of more retail space, the phase 2 of the Arts Incubator, and the expansion of the current gallery. We would be remiss if we didn't also mention neighboring development because commerce really knows no boundaries, and if you're developing right outside of our district, it influences us, of course. So quick mention to the 501, which opened in late 2016. It's an apartment building. 2 Hopkins, which is on the southern end of our district, is under construction now and opening any day. It's a major mixed-use project. And we hope to see groundbreaking soon on another major mixed-use project at 325 West Baltimore Street. We have so many assets in this district. It's just a richness of assets, from the businesses who are here now to our location right downtown. We have a great built-in customer base with our residents, the history, the diversity, the arts, you name it. But we have too many gaps in these special things. These gaps are, what Major Jones was just talking about with the drug activity, making it hard to do business on certain blocks. Vacant buildings and vacant lots are also a gap. So we're working with a number of partners, many of whom are here tonight, to try to address those gaps. And in just a minute, you are going to hear from each of our committees with respect to the work that they have done and the work that they expect to be doing in the near future. But just very quickly, I want to give you an idea of the core objectives which are going to be driving our work in the next year. Number 1, we are going to become an even more consistent, visible, and reassuring presence in Market Center so that people know we're paying attention, particularly the business owners, but also the residents, because without residents, we lose a lot of built-in customers. We want to bolster the constituency for Market Center, and this means reaching out to more and more residential property managers and anchor institutions and more businesses that we haven't even talked to yet, because we can speak with a stronger voice that way. Become a stronger voice for Market Center, I guess that goes without saying. We want to positively influence perceptions of Market Center. As Stephen Wise is always saying, we need to tell the good stories. We're going to work on that. And essentially, we're going to give more people more reasons to come to Market Center, whether it's for an hour, a day, a week, a year, or a lifetime, to fill in those gaps. And just a note on approach, you know, it's one thing to come here and say, oh, we have a new $100 million project coming up, or we have this great new investment. This is a quintessential, grassroots, organic, incremental development revitalization case study here in Market Center. And if we look at each individual investment as contributing to the whole, I think this is the way we're going to be able to sustain it over the long term, rather than looking for a silver bullet. So that's how we are moving forward in the next year, I think. And now I'm going to turn it over, just really quickly, we're going to ask you if you want to join committees, but there are other ways to volunteer too, so get in touch with me if you want. I'm going to turn it over to PC Price with the Clean and...
Good afternoon. Yes. Good evening. My name is PC Price. I'm the chairman for the Safe and Clean Committee. Our responsibility...
Put it up to your mouth.
Our responsibility is to assist in giving the law enforcement agencies what they need in order for them to be successful. That also holds true for the Clean Committee. Ms. Winder will be coming up to present the portion of it for the Clean Committee. Okay. Our Clean Committee is composed of a number of merchants and volunteers. This is a collection of some of those people. We would like to have your name up on this list. Clean and Safe Committee mission statement is partnering with city agencies, legislators, merchants, residents, and other stakeholders to provide a clean and safe environment in the Market Center. Does anybody disagree with that? Good. Our Evolution of Clean and Safe Committee, we have started back in January 2016. Actually, in November 19, 2015, when we started this project, Mel Freeman came behind me, but I asked then for partnerships. My key handle word is together. We can do things together. These are some of our partners. As you saw today with Major Jones, under the federal symbol, we have Department of Justice, DEA, some other folks, ATF, and we brought some other units in with us. These are people who come to our meetings. We have a task force meeting that we do these once a month. One for the law enforcement side, the other for the clean side. Our partners in and coming under the state of Maryland have come to the table with us. University of Maryland from Baltimore, the Office of the State's Attorney, the NTA, the Comptroller's Office of Maryland, and the President of the City Council, as well as the Mayor. On the city side, we see DPOB, which is Eric Booker, the Baltimore Development Corporation, which is Brian Gooden, I think I saw him came in earlier, the Baltimore Housing Department, the City Council, as I mentioned before, the Health Department, the Baltimore City Police Department, which is what you witnessed this afternoon, and the Behavioral Health System, which is Baltimore. For those of you who don't recognize that long name, that's Daniel Ashman. Hey, back there. Okay, good. Got a great program going on trying to help people who are addicted to drugs, taking them off the street, pointing them in the right direction, and getting some things done. not just placing people under arrest. As the Major said, it's not always the answer. Safe accomplishments, identified safety hotspots. Downtown, we have some places that are a little rough. We'd like to hear from you if there are other. We did hear today that the 300 block of Park Avenue, it's got to be a pain in the butt. Okay? We have Howard Fair, we know of, and we have the market itself. We serve on law enforcement. One of the committees that we serve on is Daniel Adams Committee, which is the Law Enforcement Assistance Conversion Community Advisory Board. It, as I said, serves the people who are addicted, and so we try to do as much as we can for them. Educated ourselves on city regulation services and initiatives. One thing that I had to become a little bit more familiar with was the citation program. A lot of people don't know that some things have changed in Baltimore, and those citations, if you are in fact obstructing and impeding sidewalk traffic, you can be ticketed. That's on foot. That's not just in a vehicle. So there's a lot of changes, and I hope that you make yourself familiar with those changes that may be able to help your businesses grow, so that we won't have people doing a lot of congregating, loitering, and disrupting. And we also have a lighting issue, and Brian from BDC was helping us to do that. If you look this building and across the street, you'll see some lighting differences in the windows and on the block. Where we had the old sodium lights, a lot of the street lights now are going to LEDs. So, so you're going to have better lighting conditions on the street as part of the safe one. Giving you an idea of some of what we have. Lexington Market, you're quite familiar with. These two locations are the bus stop area at Lexington and Utah Street. We do have a lot of activity over there, but we now have, thanks to Major Jones, enforcement activity that's keeping these folks moving along. And then he did mention to you earlier about the 20 block of Utah Street, where a search warrant was served on that, or the absolute market.
That's a march.
Right, march. And so that watchful eye is out there, not only just for this, but also to make sure that police officers are doing what they're supposed to do. And as you saw, I presented with 2 certificates for 2 police officers, and then you also saw my co-chair board of an incident of drug activity, and somebody failed to get up off their butt. Okay. On Saratoga Street, this is still on Utah Street. We are, as you see, we got a photograph of it. So you can imagine what's going on right there, right? Okay, we got some drug activity. And we take a chance to do that. Then we have a lot of the situations. That's it. Okay, MCMA safe future plans. Right now we're taking on a problem with the dispensation of opioid drugs. We're going to be trying to work that project through and make some more partners. Hopefully we'll be able to make a difference. And we're working to add cameras to pilot blocks. We've designated 2 pilot blocks. In those 2 pilot blocks, we're going to set up with these merchants. We're going to see if we can't make a difference, and if we can make a difference with those merchants and the people who are hanging in that area, maybe we'll be able to get the City Watch to assist us in doing what we have to do. And we hope to reactivate downtown West Side Security Initiative. So a lot of you are probably not familiar with that initiative during the regime from under Stephanie Rollins-Blake. The city actually sat down, they partnered with different law enforcement agencies. Along with that, lead agencies, which is Daniel Ashman's piece, and we're bringing in the homeless part of it and see if we can reinitiate some of these things so we can make a difference downtown. Okay, I'm going to have Ms. Ann Winders come up. She's my co-chair. She handles the clean part.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Ann Weinger, as PC stated. Just to make one small correction, PC mentioned that DPOB was Eric Booker. It is actually Downtown Partnership. So just to make that correct. Okay, Bob? Great. So, as PC mentioned, I'm the co-chair of the Clean and Safe Committee. We decided to separate the two because we did have a task force meeting with the combination of the clean and the safe. However, the meeting was inundated with safe issues, of course, so we decided to separate it and break out the clean. When we decided to break out the clean, we were like, okay, who do we reach out to assist us with contacts, with resources? So I reached out to my good friend Eric Booker, from who's the assistant commissioner for code enforcement, and Eric gave us some helpful information. He gave some contacts, he gave us some resources, and he's been there from day one with us, so we do appreciate Eric Booker for helping us with that. And these are some of the agencies that we're working with. Okay, some of the accomplishments that we've made is that, as PC stated, we educated ourselves on city regulations, services, and initiatives. We distributed flyers to educate merchants on the city codes. For those who are interested in them, we can certainly get them to you because they're very important when it gets to that citation period. You want to avoid the citations and the fines that the enforcement agency will be issuing. We've established a weekly cleaning program in partnership with city courts. We've adopted the bus stop at Lexington and Utah Street in partnership with MTA. That is that stop that PG was just showing with a lot of foot traffic there and problems. And we've also purchased and posted no loitering signs for businesses in target blocks. This will help the law enforcement to sort of like enforce the no loitering and sort of moving them along. Yeah, I need not say anything. It speaks for itself, I'm sure. But this is the bus stop at Utah and Saratoga. No, Lexington, Utah and Lexington. And we're working with MTA to help clean this up. That trash there is Jasper Street. That was when we first started getting together, the committee, and working on trying to clean up the area. This is what we were experiencing. Again, picture says 1,000 words. I need not even comment any further on that. But our objective is to work with the city court systems as well as Downtown Partnership to clean this mess up and to work with the business owners so that they can understand that they need to put their trash in trash receptacles, not just on the street and with the bags. Okay, again, the picture that I need to speak of, we're not going to look at that person right there. That's Christian. Kristen and I volunteer to help Kristen on Wednesdays to help clean up the neighborhood. Although I'm not there every Wednesday, Kristen is faithfully out there on Wednesdays. You will see her probably in the area cleaning up and saying hi and handing out information regarding the city cleaning codes. Oh, and by the way, these are jackets that we purchased for the market center. So if anybody would like to help, we can give you a jacket and you'll feel special. Okay. And this is some of the areas that we've cleaned up because this parking lot, which is out of our district, just slightly, Kristen and I took the honors of cleaning it up just to make the area look cleaner. Because this is a lot that's right there on Packer Street, and the University of Maryland folks walk that street to go to Tanaka's every day for lunch, so we just wanted to clean that area up and make it look good. Because they don't know that that's not our district, they just see the trash, and we'll relate that to MCMA. And other areas that were cleaned up. Thank you, Kristen. Okay, future plans. Power washing at Utah Lexington MTA bus stop. So I actually reached out to Juan Tarico today to find out if we can lock down a date to make that happen. So we're going to do like a really blowout day of taking volunteers and cleaning up that street, that block with MTA and replacing the damaged flags and power washing the streets. So if anybody would like to join us, by all means reach out to Christian and we'll be happy to have you. And the other thing is continued education on merchants and landlords on city codes. Again, we don't want you guys to be cited for trash or for city violations,
So we'd like to educate you on that, but we're at that point where the fines will start occurring. There's no more warnings to be given. They're going to start citing and giving you fines. Okay, the ask is, again, if anyone wants to get involved, there's a sign-up sheet at the table over there on your way out. We meet the first Monday of the month, from 8:30 to 10 for the SAFE, and then the third Monday of the month, from 8:30 to 10 for the Clean Committee. And it's always at 407 West Franklin Street, LSA Inc., PC's business, and the task force, as PC mentioned. We do meet with the task force every other month. So one month we meet, actually every other month, we meet with the clean side and we meet with the safe side of the task force.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Wendy Blair, and I chair the Community Development Committee. We have a real good cast of partners that we've been working with. Our committee meets the first Thursday of every month. We start at 8:30, and we try to keep it at an hour. And we meet at our offices right at the corner of Howard and Franklin Street. So the purpose of our committee is we track development and investment activity, as well as legislative and administrative proposals, and weigh in as appropriate. And then we also promote economic development in the district by identifying and providing technical, financial, and education resources. So really, it's twofold. It's tracking development activity, and then it's also promoting economic development in the district. So what do we mean by that? So when we say tracking development activity, it's not just the development activity, but it's also reviewing any kind of development proposals or new legislation or zoning hearings, planning hearings that come up in our district. Also looking at what liquor licenses are being requested, just trying to help to guide development in our area. So one of the things that recently came up was proposed CHAP districts in two different areas. The five and dime district, which is down by the super block, and then on Howard Street. And so that was something that we were very interested in. We discussed it at our committee. We took it to our board, discussed it there, and weighed in, let the planning department know how we felt about it. The other things that we weigh in on are things that changes in transportation. So we have a whole new Baltimore link system. There were changes proposed in where buses would run, dedicated bus lines, that type of thing. It's another case where we discussed it in committee. We went to the board, we talked to as many merchants as we could, and then also gave out comments on that proposal. One of the other things that we've been working on is developing an inventory of available properties in the district. So if you were to go to our website right now, there is actually a link to vacant properties. And we think this is helpful, will be helpful for people already in the district, but also to help attract other people to the district. So if you are interested in coming to the district, you could easily go to this site and see what's out there and what's available. With respect to the economic development piece, one of the things that we've been working on is education. And we held our first customer service training program about a month or so ago, and it was very successful. Merchants came out, we gave them some training, they're very appreciative. We're going to continue that program, and we hope to actually take it to some of the merchants at Lexington Market at our next class. In addition to that, down the road, we'd like to also have some merchandising classes for merchants. And then we want to come up with a retail information for merchants to tell them what the opportunities are for retail. A lot of a lot of what we have right now in the district, there's a lot of duplication. And so what we're looking to do is to come up with, you know, what's the real demand, what are the residents in the community looking for, and then get that information out to merchants so that we can kind of match supply and demand. So what's next? What we're planning, the first thing we're planning to do is to start a 501c3. And one of the reasons we want to do this is we want to be able to attract grant money to the district. And our organization now, being a member organization, we can't do that very easily. So we'd like to, we're looking into starting a 501c3 so that we can bring more funding in the area. The other thing we're working on is doing some planning on Howard Street. It's kind of self-serving. My office is on Howard Street. I'd like to see some more activity there. And then the third thing, which I talked about a little earlier, were the retail strategies, just coming up with you know, strategies to improve the retail in the district. And then, of course, the expanded merchant education. So that is it for me. And next up is our
So good evening. My name is David Wren. I'm the co-chair of the marketing committee. Our chair is Scott Garfield from Lexington Market. So I want to tell just a quick story. It's kind of funny because about 19 months ago I had this gentleman walk into my business. I don't think I had carpeting on the floor yet. And he introduced himself as Mel Freeman. He says, I'm a consultant, I'm working with the MCMA board. And I went, what's an MCMA? And he explained to me that it's a Market Center Merchants Association. He says, we're part of the RBDL district. And I go, what's an RBDL? So he invited me to this meeting last, 18 months ago in November. And I was sitting kind of where Mel's sitting right now. And he was speaking. And from that, I got involved. Got involved in the marketing committee because I thought it was really important that we give the Market Center a good look. So we actually, for a couple months, talked about, like, what's our objectives and goals? What do we want to really do here? And one of the things we had to do was look at who is our customer. So we have 4 groups of customers. People that live here, people that work here, people that invest here like merchants. I can't remember the 4th. Live, work, and people that shop here. There's actually people that come from outside that shop here. So we came up with these objectives and goals to influence perceptions of the market center, to attract an active customer base. So one of the things we did, and this is the fun part of the evening, now it's participation time, we actually created a website. So if you actually get out your phone and go to marketcenterbaltimore.org, one of the things you can do is sign up for our newsletter. We have a few hard copies in the back. But if you go to the news, the menu part, newsletter, you can actually sign up for our newsletter. And that comes out every quarter. So we've actually had 2 issues actually get published. And I also want to thank Jonathan Waller for creating our template from the Everman Theater, which we use to construct the newsletter in paper form and also on the internet. So there it is. And then we have a Facebook page. Now what's really cool about the Facebook page is it's updated quite often. I didn't know we had a florist in the district until it was posted. And I was like, oh, Florida released. Look at this. So you want to go out there and like that page so you can actually keep informed of what's going on, also events that are going on. We also created a Twitter page. Right? And we also work with the Bromar Arts District and Mount Vernon Marketplace because they also have Twitter accounts. So you want to go out there and follow us, please. Now, we just 2 weeks ago created our Instagram. So we haven't really linked it up to our Facebook page, but as we get more pictures out, we're going to be posting on Instagram and then pushing it over to Facebook. So some of the events that we've accomplished was we were Park Fest sponsor in August. We also had this gentleman down from Rhode Island, Providence, Rhode Island, who actually helped develop their downtown marketplace. It was a great visit. He visited the whole area and gave us some gold nuggets on what we need to, kind of some direction also. We also had the Market Center Mingle networking event at the Everman, which was a lot of fun. We got to meet some of the people that live here and also the resident owners and managers. The future events, 2 days from tonight, will be the Lexington Market Crab Derby in for the Preakness. So they're going to be racing crabs at Lexington Market. Imagine that. We're also planning to do something in November for Small Business Saturday.